거를 알게 됐거든요. 그래서 태권도는 행복 그 자체입니다.
태권도를 해서 강해지니까 더 자신감이 올라가고 행복해요.
I believe Taekwondo is a blessing from heaven. It has made us hopeful for the future. Every day, we're excited to see what's in store for us tomorrow. Practice it with your family. Taekwondo brings happiness.
안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Friday's edition of the Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-sports, K-history, K-everything. And all of that together with our Friday co-host, Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa. Happy Friday, Soa.
Happy Friday.
And happy Friday to everyone joining us today on the Culture Wave. I'm Bella here to co-host and, of course, fill you guys in with the latest in K-entertainment.
And it's actually already the last Friday of this month. Can you believe it's already February 28th, the last day of the second month of the year?
Time definitely flies. And because February is especially shorter, right, it definitely felt faster.
Right. And because today is the 28th, it also means that tomorrow is March 1st. And that is a very important day here in Korea.
Right.
It's Korea's Independence Movement Day, or 3.1절.
That is very correct. And it's very meaningful this year, in particular with the 80th anniversary of Korea's Liberation Day as well. That's coming up later this year.
Right. And it is important to commemorate those days and also look back at history. It's also important to retrieve back what was yours. And this not only goes as for whole countries in its whole, but also historic pieces that were found later in other countries. And that brings us to our first report today. So let's check it out right now. A piece of royal heritage has finally returned home after about 100 years. Our news features reporter Lee Eun-hee covers its journey back and its importance.
The centuries-old piece of royal heritage has finally made its way back home. This is believed to have been the nameplate of Seonwonjeon Hall within the grounds of Gyeongbokgung Palace, one of the four main royal palaces of the Joseon Dynasty. Seonwon means the origin of jade. The hall was considered the most sacred hall within the palace, home to the portraits of past kings and royal rituals. This month, the Korea Heritage Service successfully repatriated the nameplate from Japan. It is unclear how the plaque ended up there, but it's believed to have been taken by the first Japanese Governor-General of Korea in the early 1900s, during the Japanese colonial period.
The plaque features gold letters on a black lacquered background, with intricately carved cloud patterns on the frame, featuring its prestigious significance and exceptional artistic quality.
The nameplate was first publicly discovered in 2023 when it appeared at a Japanese antique auction. The Korea Heritage Service and the Overseas Cultural Heritage Foundation were quick to take action. The return of this priceless cultural heritage was made possible through negotiations and sponsorship from gaming giant Riot Games.
For the past 12 years, Riot Games has supported the protection and return of Korean cultural heritage. As a company shaping modern culture, we believe preserving Korea's heritage holds great significance for everyone, including our players and Riot Games.
The Gyeongbokgung Palace's Seonwonjeon nameplate will be studied and managed at the National Palace Museum of Korea in Seoul, with plans for in-depth research and future exhibitions to further honor its historical significance. 이은희, Arirang News.
Time for some K-entertainment news with Bella Kim. Bella, today we start off with a powerful artist.
Yes, that is correct. Power, 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 power. G-Dragon definitely showed off his power as tickets for his first world tour concert in Korea have already sold out. According to his agency, Galaxy Corporation, G-Dragon's world tour Wevermanch in Korea sold out both in advance and general tickets, selling out 64,000 seats in total. And the general reservation actually attracted 240,000 simultaneous users, resembling a reservation war between fans. And Wevermanch in Korea is G-Dragon's first concert in 8 years since his world tour back in 2017. And the concert will be held on March 29th and 30th at Goyang Sports Complex. At the concert, G-Dragon will perform his new songs from the latest album, Wevermanch, and also his legendary songs that, still are getting plenty of love.
So March 29th and 30th,
yeah.
We mentioned earlier, March is already around the corner.
I know.
And we're going to move over to another story on a male artist.
That is correct. We're going to talk about BTS member J-Hope. J-Hope is coming back with a love song. He will release his new digital single, Sweet Dreams, featuring Miguel next Friday, March 7th. The new single is a pop R&B serenade that contains the sincerity of J-Hope, who wants to love and also be loved. Sweet Dreams will feature R&B singer Miguel to give his sweet tone, and Miguel actually won the Best R&B Song with Adorn at the Grammys back in 2013. The new single will be pre-released at J-Hope tour Hope on the Stage in Seoul on Friday, which is actually today, Korea time. So his fans, going to this stage will definitely be able to see him perform for the first time. Meanwhile, J-Hope will hold an offline fan event as well, Sweet Dreamland, on March 7th, the day of the new single's release. And he will meet 613 fans in person to match BTS's debut date, June 13th. So 613 fans.
Wow, lots to look out for J-Hope fans. And we talked about two male artists. Now let's move over to a girl group.
We're going to move on to talking about aespa. aespa will perform at Summer Sonic 2025. Summer Sonic is the largest music festival in Japan and attracts more than 200,000 attendees every year. This year's festival will take place on August 16th and 17th in Tokyo and Osaka. The group will join the lineup for Tokyo performance, which will be held at Joseon Marine Stadium, Makuhari Meset. aespa officially debuted in Japan last year with their single Hot Mess and attracted over 93,000 fans through a two-day concert at Tokyo Dome, which is one of the main dome in Japan.
Right.
And the group will continue their world tour 2024-2025 aespa Live Tour Sync Parallel Line next month in London, Paris, Madrid, and other European cities.
Wow, great to see aespa perform on so many stages worldwide.
Right.
Well, thank you very much, Bella, for those K-Enter updates.
Yes.
And don't go anywhere.
Yes, I'll stick around.
And now it is time to go over to our AI anchor, Ari, for other culture-related news. Ari?
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. A special event reenacting Korea's historic fight for independence from Japan will take place at the Independence Hall of Korea this Saturday in commemoration of March 1st. Titled The Cry of the Nation, the event honors the March 1st movement, one of the earliest and most significant nationwide independence movements against Japanese colonial rule. In addition to the main reenactment, the program will include a commemorative ceremony attended by 100 pre-registered families, a special aerial demonstration by the Black Eagles, and taekwondo performance. Visitors can also enjoy a diverse lineup of performances, including a musical stage and a performance by the Korean Army Band. Changgyeongbong Palace will be illuminated at night throughout this year. Starting next month, the Korea Heritage Agency is hosting the Changgyeongbong Moonlight Illumination Night Tour, which will run from March 7th to December 31st. The program offers visitors a scenic night view of the palace, enhanced by state-of-the-art media art. First introduced at last year's Royal Culture Festival, the event will now be a regular feature, taking place daily at 7 p.m., except on Mondays. The Moonlight Night Tour is open to all palace visitors. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, in collaboration with the Korea Tourism Organization, will launch the Spring Travel Campaign from next month through May to boost domestic tourism. Minister Yoo In-chon kicked off the campaign on Thursday in Seoul, highlighting the collaborative efforts of the ministry and related agencies to drive tourism growth. The campaign aims to counter the decline in domestic travel and increase both travel activity and spending by more than 1%. Some 500,000 travelers will be offered various tourism benefits, including discounts on travel expenses. Last year's campaign led to 235 million domestic trips in June, with travel spending reaching 13.5 trillion won, or around $9.2 billion. That's all from me. Keep it tuned to the Culture Wave.
It's time for the latest in the world of K-sports, from the MLB to the LPGA to figure skating and football. For all of that, we're joined by our sportscaster, Jason Lee, in the studio. Hello, Jason.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Now, let's start with the MLB. Although it's not actually K-Sports, but we have Korean sports big names in the MLB. Absolutely. So spring training has already begun for the Major League Baseball. And I heard that San Francisco's Lee Jung-hoo has already hit a home run. Tell us about it.
That's right. He's got a pair of hits in spring training so far, but one of them is indeed a home run. He's 2 for 9 so far. And I think already hitting a home run for Lee Jung-hoo is very significant because there's a lot of talk that the Giants are thinking about having him hit number 3 in the order. Last year, before he got injured, he was pretty much their leadoff hitter. And he could probably hit either first, second, or third in the order. But typically, a 3-batter has a little bit more power, and you hit more home runs. Lee Jung-hoo, I think, maxed out at 23 home runs when he was in the KBO. So he's not really like a big-time home run hitter, although he is capable of doing so. So the fact that he's already got a home run under his belt in spring training shows that he's got the potential for power. And I think it does give them the option of moving him to number 3 in the order. I think typically he would be best suited for number 2. But the problem is San Francisco really doesn't have a true 3-batter that's capable of hitting around 290, 300 with about 25 to 30 home runs. Lee Jung-hoo might be the closest thing to that, so I think that's why they're considering having him hit 3rd in the order. But again, as you mentioned, the fact that he already has a home run under his belt, I think it bodes well for that.
Wow, very good to see him, recover well from his injuries last year.
That's right.
Because some of the fans were very worried about, how he will, come back to the stage, come back to the mound and do the batting. But seeing home run, definitely exciting for fans as well. But on the flip side, it hasn't been very good for Kim Hae-sung at the LA Dodgers with the spring training. How is it going for him? What would you say is like the best or worst scenario that could happen for him?
Yeah, Kim Hae-sung has certainly been struggling quite a bit. He has just 1 hit in 12 at-bats so far in spring training with the Dodgers. And his poor hitting so far has also been exasperated by a pair of errors as well. And I think that's the big problem because he's known for his defense. So the fact that he's gone and struggled defensively somewhat, as well as getting just 1 hit in 12 at-bats, I think fans, first and foremost, are a little bit concerned right now. I think the team, teammates, coaches, managers, the people that really know baseball, they're going to be able to look at this and say, look, it's a small sample size. He's still trying to get accustomed to the speed of major league pitches. And I think eventually he'll be able to get there. It's just a matter of a little bit of time. So I'm not overly concerned. Having said that, Bella, you did mention what is the best case and worst case scenario. Right. I think the worst case scenario is indeed a possibility that he could start the season in the minor leagues. And it's not really a bad thing. I mean, obviously, it's not a positive thing, but I think the possibility of that is true just so that he can get up to speed with major league pitches. It's no secret that, they throw about 95 to sometimes up to 100 when it comes to major league fastballs. And even in AAA, you're going to see pitches closer to 95, 96, whereas in the KBO pitches that Kim Hae-sung was accustomed to seeing, probably closer to 90 miles per hour. So there is a significant speed difference. He hasn't adapted to that just well as of yet. But once again, this is a very small sample size. We're talking about 12 at-bats. The question would be, what would happen if this persists? So if we continue along this road for the next 5 or 6 games, if he gets to 25 at-bats and all of a sudden he still only has 2 or 3 hits, then what? And I think at that point, it might be a wise decision to send him down to AAA to get accustomed to the speed of the ball first before sending him up, as well as maybe just defensively as well. He might have some nerves with them, because sometimes if you're not hitting well, then your mind isn't in the right place and you might not be fielding well as well. So hopefully he'll get on track. I think the best case scenario would be to have a couple of multi-hit games in a row, get the media off your back, get the fans off your back, and before you know it, maybe he'll be ready to go and join the team in Japan for the season opening series against the Cubs. But for the time being, yes, Kim Hae-sung is struggling a bit, both offensively and defensively. hopefully he gets out of this quickly, and this will just be a thing of the past.
Right. There are so many fans that have big expectations after he joined the LA Dodgers. So there might be a little bit of pressure. So let's do hope that it's just a matter of time and that he will, move on.
Absolutely. Myself included, by the way.
Oh, yourself.
Yeah, I'm hoping for him too.
So do we. And we're also probably going to talk about the KBO in the near future. But now let's move over from baseball to figure skating. Last time we spoke, you did mention that Mukdong Ice Rink, which is here in Seoul, of course, would be hosting the 4 Continents Figure Skating Championships, which has now ended. So how did that go? Can you give us the highlights?
Yeah, absolutely. This year's 4 Continents Figure Skating Championship was all about Kim Chae-yeon. I mean, fresh off of her gold medal at the Asian Winter Games, where she upset 3-time world champion Kaori Sakamoto, Kim again set personal bests in both the short program as well as the free skate to capture her 2nd straight gold medal. She totaled 222.38 points. Once again, a personal best, so a huge tournament for her. Yakamoto did not compete in this particular event, so she didn't have the chance to beat her for a second time, but certainly a big performance for the Asian Winter Games champion. She's now going to prepare for the World Championship, which will be next month in Boston. So congratulations, certainly, to Kim Chae-yeon. Meanwhile, Cha Jun-hwan, he had to settle for 2nd place at the event after mistakes in both of his short program and the free skate. He attributed some fault to some fatigue and minor injuries. During his free skate, he pulled out of a quad, which turned into a double instead. That actually dropped 10 points off of his total in the performance. So Cha Jun-hwan will also now be going to Boston next month, where he's actually been mentioned that he's going to consider adding a 3rd quad jump to his program. And the reason for that, obviously, he wants to perform well at the World Championship. He's won a World Championship a few years back. But if he can win this championship, this would allow Korea to send an extra male skater to the Olympics next year. Now, Korea's already got a little more depth when it comes to female figure skaters, but in terms of male figure skaters, it's pretty much Cha Jun-hwan and no one else, all due respect. But because of that, if he can place, well at this World Championships, then it would allow Korea to send one more person. And although, that next person up probably wouldn't be a medal hopeful, it would be valid experience to be able to compete at the Olympic level. So, I think a lot on the shoulders of Cha Jun-hwan, and I think he's making that into consideration.
Well, best of luck to both Kim Chae-yeon and Cha Jun-hwan in Boston. And really, Kim Chae-yeon, she is the rising star, and she is now, we could say, officially the best female figure skater in Korea now.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. At just 18 years of age, by the way. So we're talking about someone who's getting much more confident, that's making a name for herself in front of the judges that are now going to expect her to medal on the podium rather than just kind of be surprised by it. So I think 2025, I think, bodes very well for Kim Chae-yeon.
Wow, and also figure skating fans in Korea were, waiting for that 2nd legendary Kim Yeona, right? But I mean, she's doing very well, Kim Chae-yeon, so that's definitely a name that we should all look out for. And now from figure skating, we're going to move on to soccer, European soccer. What would you say is the latest on our Sonny, Son Heung-min, and also Yang Min-hyuk as well? How are they doing?
Both are doing well. Son Heung-min had a pair of assists this past week as Tottenham beat Ipswich 4-1. Tottenham, although they fell to Man City 1-0 yesterday, certainly a good showing by Son Heung-min to contribute on the score sheet a couple of times and in a convincing victory as well. He didn't play full time in the game, but his team had a fair lead by then. So I think showing once again that the captain is in good form. Meanwhile, you talked about Yang Min-hyuk as well. Of course, he's also property of Tottenham as well. However, he's been loaned to the Queen's Park Rangers. And after being loaned, he got in as a sub for a few games. But lately, he has been actually starting for the Queen's Park Rangers. He hasn't scored a goal for them as of yet, but he did have a nice assist in his first game that he started for them. I've been watching a lot of his highlights as he's been playing, and I've got to say, when you watch him play, he's very explosive. He's been manning the right wing for them, and as I've said, as of late, he's been starting each of the games. And there's a difference between a player who's fast and a player who's explosive. Speed is kind of more drawn out over a long period of time. Maybe like over a 20-yard, 30-yard sprint, you could be fast, but quickness and explosiveness is kind of more that first step. And when you watch him play, his ability to just make that first step to beat his man, to get around him, things like that, he's really got an explosive step. And I really look forward to watching him the rest of this season, and then hopefully by the summer, rejoining Tottenham to hopefully play with Sonny.
Yes, I know.
Let's hope for some explosive results.
Yeah.
Some of the fans were definitely, waiting for him to, play well because, he was loaned to the,
Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers. And, but we can see him doing definitely very well during the time,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Developing.
I think just watching some of the plays that he's been able to make, especially the goal that he assisted on, he made a really explosive play, completely fooled the defender that was supposed to be marking him, and then made a beautiful pass that allowed for the goal to score. So I mean, he really did everything to create that goal that was scored by his team. So little things like that, the plays that I've seen on the isolations where the camera's just on him to kind of feature how he's playing, I'm actually very impressed, because I've seen him do it at the K-League 1 level, and it's different when you're doing that against different competition. Certainly different type of people, right? Like Koreans are typically smaller and quick, so to see how he's going to be doing it against more European type bodies and competition, players that haven't seen him play yet, it's been great to see him compete at a high level against different competition.
Definitely. Now, let's wrap up with golf now. Korea started off the LPGA calendar with some success. We talked about Kim Ah-rim's opening win, but how are things going right now?
Well, certainly, Kim Ah-rim, as you mentioned, has been the hottest Korean on the LPGA Tour so far. She won the season opening Tournament of Champions. And then this week, right now, competing in Singapore at the HSBC Championship, she has the second round lead. The latest is that she is now 7 under through 12 holes today. So the second round is still going on right now as we speak. She has a 2-stroke lead, and among the people that are 2 behind at 5 under, another Korean is there, Kim Hyo-ju. She's at 5 under through 17 holes today, so she's got 1 more hole to play. We'll see how she does, and we'll see if Kim Ah-rim can make up even some more ground on her lead through the last 4 or 5 holes that she has left in today. But I think we see this quite often, okay? Kim Ah-rim already has a victory this season. She had a victory last year as well. But looking at how she's already come onto the scene this year, there's so often that you see one golfer that just kind of dominates from the start of the season to the finish. Looking at how she's competing this year already, I think we should all be looking at Kim Ah-rim to see if she might be that one this year. She already has the money lead on the tour. She's finished 6th place the week before, and I think she's got a good shot to do big things this year.
So just very briefly, so why is it that we usually see one player dominate the whole season? I
think so much with women's golf is confidence-based. And when you're winning, when you're on a hot streak, you win the week before, you win a couple of championships on the tour, then I think it can really snowball in terms of your confidence, in terms of your repetition. And we've seen this so much, where a lot of Koreans have certainly done this, as well as foreigners as well. But yeah, it really does seem to happen more often than not, especially on the LPGA Tour than the male tour.
Interesting. So on that note, with confidence, we're going to wrap up today's K-Sports segment, and looking forward to next time, Jason.
Look forward to it.
And thank you, Bella, as always. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back next week.
Yes, I'll see you back next week.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Have a great weekend, and maybe take a moment to remember the noble spirit of the March 1st Independence Movement Day here in Korea. Thanks for watching.